Hey, it's Juan Torres here. I was reading this article and it caught my attention. And then what I did was I did one of my rituals that I do every single day, right? Come to the office and I take a look at what Barry has to see, right? Barry Habib, he's a god in the mortgage business. And today's video I mean, they're all very good, right? But especially today's, I think that Barry did a very good job outlining what recessions do in the housing market. And it actually inspired me to create this video and actually a post about what recessions do to home prices, right? And now, if you're a millennial, you have we have this very weird thought process about the housing market and recessions, right? The last recession we went through, at least the last recession we went through was back in 2008-ish, 2009-ish, right? Where what happened was a lot of people lost their jobs, home prices went down, and it was chaos, right? But if you take a look at this, if you take a look at the chart, okay, you have, again, Barry has this the amazing job where he even goes as far as the 1960s, right? So 1960s, home prices did very well. In the 70s, prices remained bullish, right? But property values didn't go down. And then in the mid 70s, same thing, right? Up until the 80s, right? That's when you started to see home prices increase, right? 80, mid to or early 80s, and then come the 90s. I mean, from the 60s up into the 90s, like that was like properties increased in value, right? Now, if you take a look at what happened from the 90s up into the 2000, I mean, property prices increased. Now, guys, these years I'm pointing out, right? 60, 70, 75, 80, 82, then 90. So we had a recession during those years, okay? And if you take a look at the chart, right, it does a very good job outlining what property values did during that time. But again, whenever we think recession, we relate it to what happened back in 2008-ish. Barry does a very good job outlining this, okay, and quote unquote, okay, the exception is in 2009, okay, and that's when you do see a dip in prices on that chart, okay. The exception is in 2009, but that recession was caused by the housing bubble. Okay, well, what that meant is, if you remember, like 2005, 2004, anybody was able to get a loan. Yeah, you fog up a mirror and you'd get a loan, 580 FICO score, no problem, you get a loan. By the way, no income, no asset documentation. Anybody, everybody gets a loan. It's as if though like Oprah came on TV and remember when that time period, hey, you get a car, you get a car. Well, back then, Oprah came out and she says, well, you get a loan, you get a loan, you get a loan, okay? Now, that recession did not cause the housing bubble, okay? That there was a ton of bad loans being done. Remember that back then, that recession was caused by bad loans, okay? And yes, property prices did decline. The property values didn't go down as low as what the property values were back in the 80s or even 90s. Okay, so that's very big to keep in mind. So I'm making this video because a lot of people, or a lot of your clients, may be on the fence about buying because the word on the street is that there's a recession. You might be hesitant to refinance because rates are up, etc. And yeah, rates may be up, but compared to what? Right? A 4 is the new 1.99%. It's still a very good rate. I'll tell you this, 4% is still much lower than what mortgage rates were when I first got into the business. When I first got into the business, rates were at like 6.5 on the first, and then you'd get a second loan at like 12%. All right, so we're just accustomed to, we just got accustomed to 1.99, 2.5%, very quick. Okay, and look at what gas prices are doing, right? We're I mean, we're going to be accustomed to paying $5 plus at the pump. Making this video just to shed some light on what the market is going to do, or what the market is doing, or what's expected, or at least what Barry Habib is expecting, right? And I respect that guy, and he's been right a lot of times, and I believe he's been wrong once out of his many predictions. So the guy knows a thing or two, right? I did a video not too long ago, maybe about a year, where it was I think the subject line read "Me timing the market," right? And I'm like this, right? If you've been timing the market, holding off on buying, holding off on refinancing, holding off on refinances because you were expecting that rates were gonna, come even lower, well then you're out, right? Like you're wrong. It's done. Or if you were timing the market expecting that prices were gonna come down, well, look, you're wrong again, right? It's just not it's not what it used to be, right? Like, are gas prices going to come down to 350? Probably not, right? I read this article not too long ago where like the new norm is like $5 a gallon, right? And I think I pumped like at 7 and some change the other day. I would rather be paying 5 and some change. But I guess it's just, look at, with inflation going up, like this is the new norm. Okay. So for those of you that are still timing the market, for you, those of you that have clients on the fence about refinancing or tapping into their equity, right? That's some food for thought. Okay. So feel free to give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to share this. But you have nothing to worry about, at least based on what Barry is saying. Home prices and home values, at least home values, are to remain strong, even if there is even when we go through a recession. Hope you had a good day. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, and catch you on the next one, guys. See ya.